Fellow armchair generals, this is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing look at Hearts of Iron 4's No Step Back DLC. And yes, they have made a Polish new tree and whatnot and made Poland great now, yay. But my fucking god, yeah, I'm just collecting myself here. Ready to start out with a gamer's rant here. Okay, what really sort of triggered it when I was getting set up here is 2 infantry divisions of, 1 to 7 artillery units, and 1 to 4, so it's probably more down at the 1 or 2 or whatever, support artillery, and 1 to 26 infantry brigades, and okay, you know, I don't, how good my intel is here, I don't know, but when I see empty province, empty province, empty province, again, way back during pre-release days when everyone had their high hopes up for Hearts of Iron 4, thinking it was going to be Hearts of Iron 2, Hearts of Iron 3, but just a whole hell of a lot better. And they were like, well, we want this really good dynamic AI. We want a really dynamic AI because we, you know, me and others, I don't want to make it out like, oh, it's just me and I'm somehow special. No, others, and probably others with bigger footprints here, than myself. Can you do a better AI than Hearts of Iron 4? And maybe we should do programmed AI. And their response to that was, well, you know, once the player figures out the programmed AI's defense plans or attack plans, then people will just figure out how to defeat it. So what we need is, you know, a smart dynamic AI. Now, one of my responses way back at the time, what in the history of Paradox demonstrates that they can do that? A smart dynamic AI that's going to do this. They can have an AI that will create a big death stack of units, or 2 or 3 death stacks, and move around the map and conquer, you know, provinces. They can do that, and do that fairly well. At least last time I played like EU or something. My understanding with Vicky 3 or whatever that's coming out, and I haven't been following it closely, that you may not even get the chance to command troops in war. Now, I may be misunderstanding, and this I've been informed by people. It's more like you appoint generals and you appoint ministers, and maybe you give objectives, but it's the AI handling it. And of course, you know what they're going to say. Hello, Eric, my friend. Good to have you here. They're going to say something like, well, that's sort of the top-down view. You know, we're making a game for the head of state level. The head of state doesn't tell divisions or brigades or whatever where to go. They just sort of like say, you know, conquer Poland or something. When I'm firmly convinced that if you do not have the ability to micromanage your troops in Vicky 3, it will be because their AI sucks and the human can just defeat it too easily. I will be firmly convinced that if that's the case, that's what's going on. I may be wrong. Hell, I'm wrong about things. I'm not going to say I'm always right or anything like that. But, yeah. Because you can't convince me that okay, we've got lots of cavalry divisions. Or brigades, or however you want to call these units, divisions or brigades or something. But and yes, Poland did make some bad choices in the defense of Poland with Germany. Talking about Vicky 3, yeah, and what I hear about a little bit about, quick question, do you have a favorite German general? Hello, Ethan Kirby. Well, I like Frederick the Great. I think he's pretty cool. You're talking World War II. I guess, in a way, I always sort of mess his name up, and he's your favorite general, and you're messing his name up. But you'll see in a minute. I have his book over here. Let me get his book off the shelf. The book is titled "Neither Hope Nor Fear." I'm not saying he's the best general. The best general, I think, is Guderian, if that's your question. Sort of a quickie thing here. Let me get over here. I got it. I basically know his name, but it's this is it. Fredo von Senger und Etterland. I always get whether it's Singer or von Singer und Etterland. He did he's sort of a cool general. That's why he's sort of my favorite. And he did a really cool withdrawal. He was commanding in Sardinia and Corsica here. And with the Americans and the British dominating the air and the sea and conquering, they'd taken Palermo and, all of Sicily, and I forget just at what stage the landings were in Italy. He withdraws all the way out of out through Sardinia, up through Corsica, and from Corsica over to Italy. Oh, I'm also and gets all of the troops and all of his equipment out without any loss. Withdrawal in the face of the enemy is one of the hardest tasks to do in warfare, and he did it without any loss. My top three generals, German generals of World War II, are Guderian, Manstein, and Rommel, in that sort of order. They're all really close. They're all really good. Yeah. But yeah, talking a little bit about hello, Ethan Kirby and Stein Killa. How you doing? Yeah, I hear that Victoria 3, you won't be micromanaging armies or something. I'm not sure. I'm just sort of hearing that. I'm not paying close attention to that. But I'm talking right now something in a bit of a rant. Oh, and for those of you watching, because I'm making these during live episodes, live streams, and though I'm cutting them into smaller ones, well, I do get off topic, so it's not like when I'm just recording, so it is, and I very much like to. And we do see looks like a bot there, Arno. Short looks like a bot is my guess, but I'm not sure. On YouTube. So you can't convince me that a human thought out Poland. Sorry, get back to where I was. Poland made some bad decisions to defend Poland against Germany. Most of Poland's industry is in sort of the former German-controlled areas, and even though this was Russian-controlled at the time, Western Poland, not in Eastern Poland. So they made the strategic decision to do a forward defense. Even if, let's just say, the Soviets were going to be perfectly peaceful and not take any territory, and they did have troops along the Soviet frontier. They definitely did. The Poles did, and the Germans and the Soviets did invade. So they should have, of course, had troops there. But even if they didn't have to worry about the Soviet Union and could deploy all your forces here, and the Polish army is fairly big, but not. I don't think terribly well trained. I'm not saying there's not good units. There were some good units, and I can't name them right now, but there were some well-trained good units. But a lot of the army, I just can't imagine to be well-trained, because it's partially a conscript army, and budgets were limited, and so how much you could train, so it's not the greatest army, but it isn't going to be able to sustain itself against a determined German attack by, late 1939. In 1932, absolutely. Probably couldn't defeat Germany and take Germany out just because there was all, in 1932, there were various Freikorps, there were various, there was like the SA, which was seen by the German army as a sort of a reserve type aspect, as well as others. There was multiple veterans organizations that either had arms or Ernst Röhm was one of the, for a time at least, I don't know so much at the end, but early on he was one of the army officers or former army officers that the Reichswehr used as liaison to the various right-wing like militia type groups, including the SA, which he ended up being in command of course, but as well as other ones, some of the veteran organizations, to hide away large caches of arms, to then be able to, temporarily hand them out to the various right-wing militia groups, and then get them back, but for training purposes, but keep them sort of hidden away from the Versailles inspectors, to be able to hand out large amounts, at least small arms, to various elements. So even though the German army in 1932 would have been like 100,000 men strong, while the SA is 3 million men or something plus. We're talking various things here about Poland. So millions of men, the German militia could stop Poland from, just crushing Germany. But in 1932, Poland could probably defend itself from a German attack. Not effectively too much in 1939. So a long-term sustained war, Poland is not going to win. Okay, that's just a historical reality, shall we say. Not an opinion, in my opinion. It's not going to win. So defending your industrial areas isn't overly useful, because you're not going to have time to produce a lot of things for the war effort. You're going to be fighting mostly with the ammunition reserves you have on hand, and definitely fighting with the guns, whether they be artillery pieces or pistols, that you have ready now. You're not going to be fighting with stuff you're making 6 months, a year into the war. So even though these are Polish population centers, which of course you want to defend your people. I get that. But if you don't have a nation, you can't defend your people. Even if you give up 2/3 of your people, if you can still defend your nation, whatever that might be, you have the chance of defending the other 2/3 that get occupied by the enemy. But if you just lose, it doesn't matter. You're trying to forward defend. So don't know how good it would have been to sort of base a defense on loads here, or whether it would be more back along Warsaw. But they should have sort of, fortified up into this kind of region and held out for as long as you can, purely in hopes that, earlier on, hopes that Czechoslovakia and France and other anti-German forces in Romania would come to your aid and, have multi-front war with Germany, and you might win. Or once, Czechoslovakia is gone, Romania is scared, but France and Britain do come in hopes that they, can push in and, make it a two-front war effectively, and hope that you can hold out in that time. And your goal is purely to keep it a two-front war as long as possible, meaning you stay alive as long as possible, in the hopes that, no. Okay, Ethan. Poland manufactured its own tanks. They had the 7TP, which stands for 7-ton tank, basically. It had a 37 millimeter gun, similar but didn't shoot the same ammunition as the German 37 millimeter gun. It was a 4-man tank, I believe, where the German better ones were 5-man tanks, 3-man turrets versus 2-man turrets. Now, they had a lot of the little TKS tankettes, but they had tanks that weren't as good as Germany's, but they had tanks that they were actually making themselves. They were making their own aircraft. Not as good as the Germans, not as updated as the Germans, but they were making their own aircraft. They made what in America we call the Radom pistol, named after this town where they were made. It looks sort of like a 1911, but it's a 9mm pistol. It's a decent enough pistol, pretty good pistol. They made that. It was comparable to most other military pistols in the world, sometimes favorably, and meaning better. They made their own Mauser rifles, basically the same type of Mauser rifles that the Germans used against them. They manufactured a version of the Browning machine gun, M1917. It's the water-cooled machine gun that the Americans used up until on frontline service in the 1917, up and through to the end of the Korean War. Definitely very heavily in World War II. They used a Polish-made version of the BAR, the Browning automatic rifle. Again, America's using them as frontline weapons until America converts over to a .308 calibered M14. So well through the Korean War and on. And we're still, giving them out to Vietnamese units during the Vietnam War, the BARs, though they had long stopped. The Navy was probably still using them in Vietnam. Navy stuck around with 30-06 for years, because they were still using them on Garand, so they might have had those. I don't know. So they had the BARs. Their artillery, maybe not so good, but there was a lot of decent stuff with Poland. But the idea is, shall we say something, and I'm just pulling those numbers out of my ass. For every aircraft the Poles could make, Germany's going to make 5. For every tank Poland's going to make, Germany's going to make 5. For heavy artillery, Germany's going to make more. It's just going to be more. So Poland was doing okay. It wasn't as outdated as people like to think. but it was more of they couldn't afford, and which means they couldn't build up enough industry to build a strong, large modern military army with lots of tanks, lots of planes, lots of trucks to move lots of artillery. That's just beyond them. But they can do good in a certain amount. Thank you, Arno, for talking about the tankettes. Think if Germans used backhand blow tactic like in the second and third battles of Kharkov instead of the Festung of Hitler, they could have turned the tide. But why just keep defending? Yeah. Oh, you're talking about later in the war with Germany. Yeah, Germany could have done a lot better, particularly on the Eastern Front, with maneuver warfare. Absolutely. Instead of trying, see, Hitler's not wrong on a lot of his positions, and I know we're already off talking about other things, and I'll try to get back on to playing the game. Hitler's not wrong in that there's a lot of strategic resources in this region, particularly, that he wants to hold on to that are critical, if not, critical for the long-term success of the German armed forces. But if you can't, and so he wanted to doggedly hold on to them. Now, I do think part of his reasons for doggedly wanting to hold on to them, he's using that as a excuse. He just believes his generals don't ideologically believe in the struggle enough to hold out strong enough, and if they just hold out strong enough, they will win. He's wrong, of course. But so long term, sort of Hitler's right in that you need to hold these things, but obviously the facts on the ground, not just looking at it from today, looking back, but at the time showed that he couldn't hold the territory doggedly. So you needed to do better maneuver warfare. And yeah, I'm not going to go into details of tactics, but yeah, that could have been, in my mind, the way the German lost is because they declared war on Russia and me. No, so you're just preparing to conquer evil Poland. Well, we're going to get there and eventually here. But yeah, so starting out with this rant is, I want to get it done and then get to playing again, is and one of my thoughts is to give us a GUI interface to draw both defensive and offensive plans and sort of put in triggers for fallback lines and whatever else, and then put that out to the community. And then communities, there could be a bunch of community different defenses. Then you don't necessarily know what defense or offensive plans you were going to face, each time you play through, because they want it for replayability to have it more dynamic. But you can't tell me that leaving gaps in your front line here, that, I mean, they might have a division here, right there. They might have a division here. That would actually be sort of smart. That would be smarter than putting them up here. That is, now this would be a better place to put them, in the city and here. But, or actually, I don't know. We got to stop them somewhere. But I don't believe they do, just not believing it. So that you could move around, and that has to be better than this wannabe better dynamic AI kind of thing. As Churchill said, vultures were feeding on the carcasses of Czechoslovakia. Absolutely. Yep. This started out the game as part of Czechoslovakia. Poland wanted it historically. They tacitly approved of Germany getting the Sudetenland so long as they got this and they took this when Germany took the Sudetenland. And, well, it hasn't happened yet, I guess, but Hungary grabs that shortly after. So, and out here wants to join this state that doesn't exist. The Republic of Ukraine doesn't exist, but they set up a sort of when all of this. Okay, another history lesson here, as opposed to a lesson from history. It was called Czechoslovakia, and then Germany takes the Sudetenland, and then the name changes to Czechlo Slovakia. Actually changed the name from Czechoslovakia to Czechlo-Slovakia because it's already breaking up at this, and it continues to break up. And these guys want to get some sort of independence. There's a certain amount of Hungarians left over from the old Hungarian Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire in here. Want to go to be part of Hungary. The Polish-speaking people here, I should say, want to be part of Poland. Of course, the Sudeten Germans want to be part of Germany. The Germans that live in this part of Slovakia, well, they don't have a majority anywhere, but they do want to be part of Germany. And Slovakia wants to be independent, and Czechs want to sort of rule it all, but they know they can't. So it's already collapsing at this stage before we've even taken the rest of it. My idea is you push Moscow and then punch the Caucasus. Okay, Ethan, well, you can look at some of the last Saturday stream where I talked about some of the strategy that I would propose for World War II and Soviet Union. I'm not going to go over it again this week because it'll be a repeat for everyone else. Okay, we are going to invite to faction because it says we might be able to. It says they will accept. We give this a try. And they refused. Okay, well, they refused. Well, maybe when we get to, well, here, even first Vienna, that may do it. Maybe I should have waited for that. We'll see. Well, Germany does not have the logistical ability to sustain deep operations into the Soviet Union. That is just a basic reality of the situation. It can sustain operations in this sort of distant scale, from Germany into the, French West Coast, but really sustain deep push. So if you're starting, somewhere along this line, the this is here is where they started. Okay, that puts you to about here. Yeah, that's where they're good to, right about here. And that's about it, quite honestly. Now they get further, obviously, but that's where they're good to. Okay, so we are producing some radar. Would we want to do that? Well, let's drop one here as well, because since aircraft can teleport into our rear areas, we'll drop one more there, and then we're going to come back here and let's build some military ICs. I think that's good. We will start thinking about building some more railways soon. Now we're just because of, I went on about this last week, so I'm not going to do it again. This is just taking too long to get through what I think are mostly historical things they achieved in the time of it. So when I tried Supreme Command World at War, I actually wondered if plan destroy Polish army but then hit hard France before winter would work better than hitting Belgium in spring. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if Hitler and the German High Command really thought France and Britain were going to go to war over Poland, well, one, they wouldn't have done the war when they did it, but two, along with those terms, and it's what I actually like to do as a strategy. I like to wait till spring 1940 to invade Poland, to crush Poland, and then rapidly turn my force around to invade the Low Countries and France. Then, games are historically weakening French. Okay, well, Rhaegar, the way it should be, the way if you want to do historical France And fortunately, the Black Ice guys agree with me. At least the Hearts of Iron 3 one do. Is that the French army should be strong, but two things should be the case with the French army. Is one, the delay between attacks that they have in Hearts of Iron 3. You don't have it in 4, but that sort of either delay between attacks or the delay once you strategically redeploy. And now here, there's another problem, another way. Should be greater, so that, but two, what really should be, and it would hurt because the AI is so bad, but because it will do this, is it should be a good arm. You know, you can't have militia and reservist type units, but excuse me, a lot of the French army should be good. But once a unit breaks, or once it loses organization, even if it hasn't actually broken, but once it loses organization, it should be really slow to rebuild it, because that would be historically set up. So so you have strong units, but once you break those units, or once even if they lose half their organization level, have their regain so slow that then if you hit them, you can reorganize your German forces enough and then hit them again. And because that would historically match France's inability to deal with change on the battlefield. And so either whether you break a unit and cause it to retreat, or it just simply loses, you attack wherever with 5 divisions, they win, but half of their organization is gone. You've got time to reorganize your troops, and before they've come back a little ways, but then you hit them and grind them down again. So that would match the reality of this. I got one railway gun right now, and it can bombard in this range. So we're building a second. So I think we are. Okay, so we are still in 1939. So a brittle French army, strong but brittle, is how I would. Okay, I'm going to do that. Let's just take a quick look here. Strong but brittle. The first Vienna Award. Yeah, I should have waited for. Should have waited for the first Vienna Award to try to get. Yep, I'm just going to do it. No. I'm just going to go back and load my save and not ask them to come in. Tell us more about General Plan Ost if it happens. Will it make Germany rich? Well, I don't know that. I don't know how it's going to go, quite honestly.
Zum Ausrücken! Ausrücken!
There we go. That was the main thing we did. Germany would be the richest if it stays out of the war and stays at peace. That would be the best choice for Germany, is to stay at peace. Because going to war just costs so much in destruction. Not just in lives, but in all kinds of destruction. like we did. We're going to drop in radar here because we're a little bit south of that cover. Over to there, and then what strategic decision just changed that made Italy want to move all of its army? What just changed? Well, sent something down here. That's smart. Not saying it was bad moving their army around. Not at all, actually. In fact, the opposite. But what changed? Okay. Oil processing improved, and yes, we're going to come here and get better. You can play it faster than I do, so just talking with you guys. Okay, now, oh, well, we can no longer ask them to invite. Well, maybe that wasn't the thing to do, but they didn't come in either way. Well, we're going to continue to move down this path here, the historical one, at this point. No, you guys, and I'm not going to play a peaceful Germany, but I know you want. Oh, peaceful Germany. That's the smartest move. Yeah, the smartest move is not to play. But hey, we want to play war games. Yeah, I like reconnaissance. What I'm really going to find interesting, and what we should start doing soon, is railway and supply support into the east and see how that goes. And I know some of you guys have already played much deeper than I have in this. I have only been playing these Saturday mornings for me. This is Saturday morning. Partially because I want to share it with you guys, partially just other things doing. Anti-tank upgrade. Now, what that should allow me to do here, I think, is come here. Okay, there we go. Medium cannon, I think. Well, no, let's yeah, this enables improved high velocity cannon and improved heavy cannon. Improved high velocity cannon. So start with a Panzer IV Auste, which we have been making some just to get our production lines up and going. So definitely don't want to basic heavy cannon. Basic high velocity cannon. I thought it was search, or am I just reading this wrong? Probably just reading this wrong. But it says improved high velocity cannon and improved heavy cannon enables. So basic high velocity. I take that to be something sort of like a 50 caliber. Hello, Lord Samuel. In my save, Leon Blum was the leader of the Free French. Okay. He was premier or whatever of France for a while there, I believe. I don't remember Leon Blum's full history. We do have here this Herschel, or Henschel, I should say, Henschel, here with the installed basic high velocity cannon, extra machine guns, all sort of. Let's see, can we change the model? Let's. I guess it's too late to change. Select model. Well, I guess it's maybe the best one we have. No, spawn with Leon Blum and not. I was talking about a bug. Yeah, it should be free. If it's supposed to be historical, of course, it's supposed to be de Gaulle. Okay. Maybe we need a. Okay. Roll medium type. Oh, maybe we need a 3-man turret. Back. Where's small cannon? It's supposed to be improved high velocity, not basic. Am I just missing something here? Probably, because it says enable. Pack 40. Maybe it's good to build some DDs for it. No, we're not worrying about Navy this time. We're pretending we're Germans and we're going to do everything on land. With trains. What am I missing here? It took me a while to find that out. Let's look at here and see if still just basic high velocity cannon. Where's improved? Let's let a day go by. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it'll update. Okay, day's gone by here. I want to just come in here. I want to go. Okay, I'm just checking medium. Let's check here. We have improved small cannon 2. Heavy armaments, basic heavy cannon. Yeah, no, we can't put that in the turret. I understand. Hmm. Remember my game in Japan earlier was De Gaulle. De Gaulle. He was dragged me into multiple wars and conquering India. It might be safer alliance than De Gaulle. Yeah, this is sort of frustrating. So, I mean, not that I wouldn't have done it anyways, but I wanted that improved. I don't know if chat. Hello, Dr. Castoka. I mess with tank design and I think I created a monster. Well, I'm sure that could happen. Um, we have medium. We've got decent. Hmm. Trying to wonder what am I doing wrong here? No, no. Spot, that's what I'm doing there. Here. Back to where I want it. We do the radar. I have a hard time to produce improved medium tanks. Production is just so. I think some of the ramping up to production is a bit slow. I will agree with that. We take the mouse chassis, slap Panzer One turret on it, Christie suspension, welded armor. Yeah. I don't know that that is a good idea. Okay, let's see. What we're going to do is we're going to click here. That will improve railings up to there. Let's do rail to here. Be a fresh one. Medium cannons can't penetrate. AT can't pen. Yeah, might work in a game. Basic T-34 would just add radio. Yeah, that would be a relatively smart move. Though I would say the three-man turret is better than the T-34 with the two-man turret. It's only late war does the T-34 85 get the three-man turret that finally is sort of the good T-34. But a new one you can replace existing ones if you have spare trucks. Yeah. So we'll start building some railways and upgrading some railways here. As soon as that gets done, we'll see how fast these go. Well, I'm not going to change my tank design just yet because I was trying to skip some different production periods here while we move towards the fate of Czechoslovakia. I don't know if Chad, if you got any solution to my why I can't get it. Yeah, maybe we should do more supply hubs. But what I'm worried about with the railways, quite honestly, is not today in these sort of low supply areas, but the sort of tomorrow when we're going to try to push deep. I want to have my railways prepped to, to move lots of supplies. And I hope it's useful to do. Though with a Christie engine, you're not going to move a mouse fast. Sorry. I know Christie was a, you know, speed racer of tanks and all. But doctrines available, okay. Yep, we'll do it. Enough resources for what we're trying to currently build. Let's do and 2 more there. But I'm still sort of frustrated over not just a medium turret type. Well, that's already, we have this 3-man turret. Okay. Am I getting wrong here? I wanted improved high velocity cannon. So this number 2, sort of like this is improved small cannon. That's what I was thinking I was going to get. This just, no, well, this is. So when you click on supply, you can just press the middle button and pop up upgrade all railways. Oh, very interesting. Good to know. You might have the coverage, but the railways are not good enough to move all the stuff needed. Well, currently, no, I didn't do that. I always click the wrong place with that. What I really want to do is look at this. Sorry if this seems pedantic to you, because it does to me, but okay. Currently we have soft attack, you know, good soft attack, bad hard attack for the short barreled 75. What I want is long barreled 75, which should have the same soft attack. I was hoping this is what I take. I don't. I figured this was the small cannon was a 37 millimeter, or something like the automatic cannon or something like that to be at like a 20 millimeter. But hard attack, Yeah, a little better. Improved small cannon, just good 37 millimeter basic high velocity. That'd be like the basic 50 millimeter gun. Cannon has 10 less, yeah, than medium howitzers, but better overall than anything included in the price. You're going to attack the Polish? Yes, when I get through the national focuses to do so, I will. Well, I guess we're going to go with this one. And we have that. We have radios. We currently have radio 1. So let's do improved radios. I like that. Special modules. What did I put in extra? No. I think additional machine guns. Yeah. And then Hudson. Here we go. No, we go slope armor later, maybe. So we'll do that. Okay. Let's have here. Okay. We have good armor. All right. Each of them has. Okay, so now we have the better version here. So let's just cancel that, and we're going to come here, and we're going to grab the improved version here. Panzer, no, that's the Panzer III. Where's the Panzer 4? No. What? Did I not save it? Oh, okay. Panzer III. Have I been looking at the wrong one all this time? Have I been looking at the wrong one all this time here? No, it's here. What? Because it's now grayed out. Yeah, no, this is. Okay, we have the Panzer III-C here. This. Oh, hell. This is just confusing. Okay, this there. That's what that one's supposed to be. And somehow this one here, Oust A, has turned into a Panzer III Oust A title. Why? Let me save this and try this again here. We're getting confused. Is this fun, guys? I think you just made design from scratch on the same chassis type instead of upgrading the existing one. Could be, could be. Well, you see, I thought I thought I came in here. Maybe I did this wrong. Thought I came in here, grabbed Panzer IV Oust A. Right, and now I'm going to upgrade it. So I'm going to give it medium cannon, not howitzer, medium cannon. I'm going to upgrade its radio. Give it an anti-aircraft machine gun and give it skirt armor. That's good. Okay, well, I guess it's just doing these names. You know, this is what I did. It's just now throwing, for some reason, the tank designer is throwing this name in here. So, okay, now that I know what's going on here, okay, this one here, this has medium cannon as that. Okay, can we make this even more confusing? Well, you know what, these are going to be the same tanks. These are the same tanks. Well, maybe the radio's improved. Yeah, the radio's improved on this C model here. Where's this model? Okay, well, so we're going to make the Panzer III-C for that, and I'm going to leave these Panzer IV Oust A's because we've yet to get an improved bigger bore gun. We need more titanium here. Let's see if we can get it from Sweden. There we go. Hello. Hi, Falk Flames. How you doing? Sure, go ahead, ask your question. Replace AA with ammo. No, I don't think I want to do the ammo wetting. As tanks break on their tanks have good replacement. Design and build a heavy tank to help with the breakthrough. How did you learn to play this game when you started? I had well, back in, we'll go with, I'm just guessing on the year. Back in 1982, no, probably back in 1978, probably around 1978, I got the war game, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by Avalon Hill. And even before then, back in about 1975 or so, well, probably about around 1975 or so, I started playing miniature armor with adults. I was still a kid then, on a big sand table in somebody's garage that we, drove, moved tanks around and rolled dice. And I've been playing war games ever since then. And when I got Hearts of Iron 3, it was just instinctual for me. I just was so familiar with the basic concepts of the game. Yeah, I had to learn the details, but I just sort of knew it enough. So yeah, I've been doing it for, a long time now. So it's really easy for me to pick up a lot of this stuff. So Yeah, I would like Dr. Castrocop. I guess I'm sort of getting that right. Watching videos is a good way to learn it, but yeah, no, I just now for Hearts of Iron 4, I was on the beta test. I was one of the beta testers for Hearts of Iron 4, so I was playing it before there were any videos. So yeah, I learned Hearts of Iron 4 before it was out to the public. So I've been playing Hearts of Iron 4 before it was released, and Hearts of Iron 3 for a long time before that. So yeah, well, but see, that's when I started learning. I've been doing it for a long time, and it's just a next step in an evolution. To me, Hearts of Iron 3 was just easy. It just seemed, like I say, instinctual. Um, okay, now let's look at supply hubs. We have one here, we have one here. No, I don't think we'll put any more now. Well, maybe we should upgrade. Yeah. Okay, range need width. Range from that is 2. Okay, so I'm seeing, yeah, there's things I got to learn here, no doubt. Um, if we were to okay, upgrade railways, like I think it was the doctor was saying, queue upgrade railways, bottlenecks of the path. This one, yes, okay, so we're going to do that and did that. Okay, here we are. Okay, 8, 4. Here, Breslau. I guess. We'll see how that works. I'll probably watch some videos, but I know the tutorials in this game no help. Sorry that they're not helpful. Yeah, watch videos. You can watch some of mine. If you have a specific question, I would gladly try to answer it, but I don't know if I can just here's how to play it. Just click on the supply hubs and motorize them. Okay, that would be motorization level. Supply hub uses trucks, enables stockpile range. Okay, so if we were to motorize it, I knew that there's motorization in some of these situation, and that is why I have built, well, almost 3,000 additional trucks here. Well, no, let's end this episode. This episode's gone on too long as it is. I want to thank you all for watching. If you've got this far, I really do appreciate it if you could maybe give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, of course, hit the subscribe button, because if you made it this far, it must be interesting to you. We will be continuing with more Hearts of Iron next time.